Greetings, and Jesus Christ be praised forevermore. Let's look at a little article over here, or a story. So it's titled Physicist. After 33 billion years, the universe will end in a big crunch. It says here the universe is approaching the midpoint of its 33 billion year lifespan. A Cornell physicist calculates with the new data from dark energy observatories. After expanding to its peak size about 11 billion years from now, it will begin to contract, snapping back like a rubber band to a single point at the end. Okay, so I want to read you a few quotes here from pretty well-known guys, but here it goes. Life has no meaning. It's up to you to give it a meaning. And value is nothing but the meaning that you choose. Okay, here we go. Another one. That's by Jean-Paul Sartre. Our life is as meaningful, as full, and as wonderful as we choose to make it. Richard Dawkins. We only have one life to live and must go on with it to the end. That if we feel it is meaningless, then we ourselves must give it meaning. Okay, so just looking at these few quotes here, a commonality between each of them is that they're basically suggesting that if life has no meaning, or if life feels meaningless, then you have to try and come up with a meaning for it. So you have to try to make up meaning. And essentially, they're saying to you like, hey, okay, it might be true that life's meaningless, but if you pretend that life is meaningful, then life is meaningful. And with that kind of reasoning, I kind of have a problem with accepting that, because it doesn't seem immediately obvious that if I pretend that something's true, that it is true. That's almost like a Christian who says, hey, God exists because I'm pretending that God exists. It's almost, you might almost say it's an absurd way to reason. Which is fine. If you want to live in an absurd world and be absurd in an absurd world, then, I mean, you live your life. But I don't want to be absurd in an absurd world. I would rather try my best to be meaningful and reasonable. Okay, so here the problem is basically, the problem we have is, well, you need to invent meaning to make it meaningful. Let's look at an alternative. Let's read from another text here. It says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty. Darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. I'm going to read a few lines and then I'm going to continue on. So it says, God said, let there be light, and there was light. God saw that the light was good. God said, let the water under the sky be gathered to one place, and let dry ground appear. And it was so. God called the dry ground land, and the gathered waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land that bear fruit with its seed in it, according to their various kinds. And it was so. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them serve as signs to mark seasons and days and years. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let the water teem with living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the expanse of the sky. So God created the great creatures of the sea and every living and moving thing in with which the water teems, according to their kinds. And God saw that it was good, and God blessed them and said, be fruitful and increase in number, and fill the water in the seas, and let the birds increase on the earth. And God said, let the land produce living creatures according to their kinds, livestock, creatures that move along the ground, and wild animals, each according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, in our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, over the livestock, over all the earth, and over all the creatures that move along the ground." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number. Fill the earth and subdue it. Rule over the fish of the sea and the birds of the air, and over every living creature that moves on the ground." God saw all that he had made, and it was very good. Now, comparing these two stories, okay, to me, it seems a lot more reasonable to say that life is meaningful because God has created us for a reason, to take care of the world which he created and to make it more and more beautiful as it was beautiful. Life is meaningful, and the way that we live right now is actually very important. And the reason why is because we were created to fulfill a purpose which God foreknew. And so I encourage you, whoever's listening to this, like, search the scriptures to find what the reason is for why God created you. And there's some things that everyone is called to. There's some things that only a few are called to. But the most meaningful thing that you could ever do is seek the God that gave you meaning. God bless.